Hello peeps! Today then, I'm staying local because I did a lot of walking and moving about, climbing and stuff like that yesterday, and so then I went out with my Rasta friend to a Jamaican bar, and I got quite pissed and stoned. Not an everyday occurrence for me, but it was pleasant to do it that once. I shouldn't think I'll be making a habit of it. This video is about listening and seeing. They sound so very simple, and everybody will say, oh, I'm listening, or I can see, but seeing goes deeper, people. Listening goes deeper, and time after time after time I've listened to wise people, gurus and the like of Krishnamurti and Osho and any number of person that's out there in the media that's spreading the word, and they emphasize to really listen. And I say on many occasions, listen without prejudice, because this is what really listening is. Because if we listen and our minds are full of prejudice, then we've already made up our minds as soon as we start hearing some words, as soon as we listen to the delivery of somebody speaking, as soon as we see their posture or their clothes they're wearing, we're judging, and this judging is affecting the word that they are saying, and it will leave us very quickly on many occasions making a judgment and opinion that we don't like this person and their word is rubbish. So what you do is then you cut off your own nose to spite your own face. And so seeing, it's not just about looking, it's about seeing, really seeing. There's a difference, there's an amazing difference. 90% of the planet are only looking, they're not seeing. And I'll speak about this in the next video, because when we start to be a seer, the world just becomes a completely different place. It's incredible how it just changes, and you will think you're living in a different world, because the things that you're really seeing you never saw before when you're only looking. And so this thing about listening, I want to emphasize the listening aspect of it, because it's so immensely difficult for us to do with our doctrines and programs, that we find it really difficult to set aside. We have to just free ourselves from them. Until we free ourselves from them, then we will never be able to listen properly. Can you see what I'm saying here, what I'm conveying? It's a bit like if you want to listen to some nice music, only you've got background noise all around. You've got workmen working over on the road. You've got someone banging and clattering around in the kitchen right next to you. It's really going to compromise the experience that you have whilst listening to this beautiful music. If you could listen to that beautiful music on its own, without any other sounds coming into it, in a peaceful mind, then you get the picture, people, how much more you will hear. That's when you'll really be hearing. Other than that, anything other than that, you'll only be listening. And there's just a world apart. And so what I'm really trying to emphasize in my videos now, and I've done a sort of follow-up from my Eckhart Tolle video, because I find it really important to sort of level the ground here, because I know what's going on with you people, because it was going on with me. And to certain degrees, it still probably always is going to be going on with me. But you see, what happened to me very early is that when I was listening with my prejudice, I knew instantly, hang on, what's going on here, mate? You've already made your mind up about this guy, like Eckhart Tolle. I looked at this guy and I thought, oh, please, no, I'm just not prepared to take on board anything this guy says. It's ridiculous, look at him, he's pathetic. But I've learned, you see, since then, just to take the word, just to listen very, very carefully to the structure of language, to understand what words mean in any given context. You can't read books and skip over words you don't know. You know, because if you do that, say 50 times in a book, imagine how much information or insight you've lost. You have to understand every single word. And you have to understand it in quite a lot of its variances. So you have a deep understanding of language to the best of your ability. And then when you have a deep understanding of the esoteric parlance, then you can grasp meaning more. You know, because it's all about the feeling, the energy which is in the words. It's not about the words, it's not about the superficial reading the words and then they're just going woof, 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 woof. No, every single word, absorb it, think about it, feel it. Because until you start to feel what these words and paragraphs say, then you're just not going to get it. And this is it, and I have to labour this because I need you to understand, people. And I don't know whether, you see, it's so difficult because there's a time in our lives when all of a sudden things will have a greater level of clarity. For most young people, the clarity won't come until later on in life. For some young people who have had tremendous trauma, they get clarity stuffed right down their necks. If they've been through, like lots of you viewers tell me about, very, very bad depressions over many years, during this time, your shit in here is broken to pieces, absolutely broken down, because you know that you can't depend on any of it anymore. And so it seems that unless you've been through an experience, either a short, sharp shock, or not so short in lots of people's cases, or you've got longevity, you're 40, 50, 60 years old, then you're not going to understand this world. And that's the thing, you know, it's a wise person's prerogative. It's an experienced person's prerogative to understand. You can't just understand without experience. You can't just understand without feeling or having felt 1,000 emotions already. So when you read words then, you know what the fuck those words mean. You've been there. And when you've had levels of ecstasy and excitement and any number of things, just flick through the dictionary and say to yourself, have I experienced that? Really, have I experienced that? And you'll probably have found that you haven't. You're just assuming that you know what it means. You don't know what it means. You only know what words mean when you've experienced the essence. And this is what I'm saying, and I'm saying it emphatically, because what we have to do is we have to feel our way through, because I've been there, people. I was there, you know, until very recently. I was trapped. I was trapped within the four walls of my home due to my circumstances financially. And so therefore I was limited in my options, and of course the computer's there, the weather's crap outside, what are you going to do? So I was absorbing, and I was intellectualizing, trying to intellectualize everything. But over this past year, increasingly I've started to understand that you cannot intellectualize this spiritual stuff. You have to feel it, you have to know it. Like I say, it's like love. Try to intellectualize love. It can't be done. And so we have to come to a transitional period in our development whereby we just try to be as open-minded as we absolutely can, casting no judgment upon anybody or anything. Just listen, hear, look and see. So I don't want to burn this one out, so I'll leave it there, guys. But if you really feel what I'm saying here, then let me know, because it would be interesting to see what sort of percentage of my viewers are really grasping this listening thing. Because you go into a different dimension of listening, you go into a different dimension of seeing. And for instance, when most people are engaging with conversation with friends or colleagues or family, how many of them are really listening to what that person's saying, really feeling where those words are coming from? Very, very rarely. All the person's interested that's supposedly listening is just waiting for his turn to interject and to project onto the other person their shit. And so what we find is, when we listen to people, that all it is, it's kind of like an exchange. One projects onto one, the other one doesn't listen, but then just projects onto the other one. It's a bit like playing tennis. You don't hit the ball back that the person served. You just serve your own ball. So all you've not got a tennis match, have you? You've got two people serving balls which the other people never return. So there's no game. And so this is how the conversations work. There's no understanding. There's no point to these conversations. It's just you unloading your shit onto somebody else unloading their shit. And that's what the vast majority of people in society do. And so that's it, people. I can't really be any more plain than that. It's one of these things, whether you're gonna be at a stage in your life whereby seemingly you're blessed with the ability, because it isn't anything really you can try to strive for. It's something that comes with wisdom. It's something that comes with experience and deep understanding. And so this next video, it seems like I'm having a bit of a go at a few people. I'm not having a go at anybody. I'm just trying to express myself the best way I can, and I'm getting a lot of sensible comments from my viewers these days, and so I'm responding more and more. And so don't ever think that I'm being negative, or I'm being disrespectful, or I'm being despondent. It's difficult sometimes to read the emotion between the text, isn't it? You know, and my variety of deliverance with my messages is kind of firm, and I write pretty similar, which you know, can be a bit you know, for some people. But don't ever take it as that, you know, and always feel free, if you don't understand something or if you feel a bit like that, just to get back to me with the next comment, you know. In a bit, guys.